This is Late Night Health. This is the radio show that cares about the most important part of your life, your health. During the next hour, the insane Daryl Wayne and I are going to take a look at a couple of interesting things. We're going to start our show by talking about life beyond life with the author of Love, Dad, How My Father Died, Then Told Me He Didn't. We'll be talking with Mike Anthony in just a couple of moments. And then the last half of this show, we're going to be talking with Sheila Unique. She's new book out called Relatefully, Gaining Greater Relationships. And we'll find out how to do that so that your outside will work well with your inside. We go to the LA. Mike, where are you? LA? I forgot.
I'm in Connecticut.
Oh, you're in Connecticut. Okay, good. We're in Connecticut, not LA. And we're going to speak to actor, author, and bartender Mike Anthony. Love, Dad, How My Dad Died, Then Told Me He Didn't. I'm just going to say that my father died very young. Daryl's father died even than my father. My father was 57. Daryl?
42.
Wow. And my dad died all of a sudden. He hadn't been ill. Daryl, how about you?
He had a full physical 2 weeks earlier.
Yeah, my dad did the same and passed
and
it.
Just hit the floor one Wednesday morning in the kitchen, and that was it.
That was it. Mike, you were bartending at the time. You were in the area of the theater of Hamilton, and you got the phone call. Was your father sick?
Yeah, and similar to both of you guys, my dad, he was 60, and he was a young 60, so we thought he had a lot of years left, so a total shock. And I was working bartending on Broadway, and I got the call just before intermission from my sister screaming on the phone that he was gone.
And it was all of a sudden.
Completely, from our perspective, completely out of nowhere, yeah.
Now, we have to point out that you are an actor, and that's your chosen profession, or has been. But you wrote this book because you had been a skeptic, I guess, about God, spirituality, and life after death. Did this actually change your beliefs?
Oh, I changed them completely. I mean, by the end of my experiences, I have what I consider to be undeniable proof that science is incorrect and that we are much more than our bodies. And when you say I was a skeptic, it's not that I was totally closed off to these possibilities, but I'm just the kind of person who needs proof. You know, I require hard evidence, and I sure got it.
I've got to tell you, I'm like you. I'm still not sure. I want to believe. Every now and then I'll have a dream about somebody who's passed. I'll be yelled at by my radio mentor. I'll be lovingly, by the way. But I'm still not sure. I mean, how do we know that it's not you wanting to connect to your dad?
Right, and that's a great question. And certainly that comes into play. When we're grieving, we're so desperate to believe. And you know, so the idea of mediumship, right? These people who claim that they can communicate with our deceased loved ones, like John Edward, the show Crossing Over, and the Long Island Medium. Mainstream science says that those people are all lying to us, right? That there's no possibility of life after death, so they have to be lying. And they say that the way they do it is rather easy because we're so desperate to believe that we help them along as they are duping us, basically. So I was aware of that, and I ended up systematically testing a medium who was claiming to be hearing from my father. And that's when the evidence started to become clear to me that something was going on that I could not explain.
Have you had a one-on-one with your dad, like, hey, Dad, where'd you hide all the money? Or, Dad, I'm buying a house. You bought many. Give me some advice on this contract. anything like that?
Yeah, well, that's how it started. My sister had hired this medium to come to our house to do a reading, and I talked to my dad that day, all by myself. I was at my father's house. He lived in this back lot in the woods in Connecticut, so I was completely alone. And I said, Dad, I need you to tell me this code word. If this is real, if this woman's really doing this tonight, you have to say this specific thing to me, or I won't believe that it's real. And then sure enough, when she came to the house that night, she said the code word, completely blowing my mind. And then that was not enough for me either. So about a year after that, I called that woman back, and I said, I really need to know what's happening here. I need to know if you're telling the truth. I'd like to test you by bringing total strangers to you, and I'm going to film it. I started making a documentary. I'm going to sit you down in front of the camera and walk complete strangers in and have you do readings for them. So I want to see if you can do what you did with me when I know there's no way you could have been Googling their names or hiring private detectives or cheating in any discernible way.
What was her accuracy rate?
In the book, I cover 10 readings. I've now done about 20 with her. Her rate of accuracy is about 60%. I can't remember exactly. And, with percentages and statistical analysis, it's highly complicated, right? I mean, if you hire an actual statistician, the equations can be incredibly complicated. There's a scientist by the name of Dr. Julie Beischel at the Windbridge Research Center in Arizona, and she's doing the real hardcore science on this. So, I always have to preface this by saying, as you said, I'm an actor and a bartender. I'm not a scientist. I had wanted to be a science teacher, but became an actor instead. So, my experiments I would call casual, and I ended up finding out, though, that there are real scientists out there, highly respected, credentialed scientists who have done studies at the University of Virginia, the University of Arizona, among other places, coming to the same conclusion, and their accuracy rates are similar, 60%. And the thing about the accuracy rates are that there also have to be highly specific things, right? Because there's a certain amount of information that's going to apply to everybody, like maybe 30% is going to apply to everybody. Like, do you have a father figure who's passed, for instance, is a common thing you're going to hear. And that applies to many, many people. So, the equations get rather complicated, but the bottom line is people who know what they're doing, who spend a lifetime with mathematics and stats and science and scientific method, are saying something is going on. They call it anomalous information reception. There are some people who are able to get information in a way that we can't currently identify.
Have you put your acting on hold? I mean, right now, Broadway is unfortunately dark, as they say, because of COVID. But are you spending more of your time doing this than, going in for auditions?
Yeah, I've been almost exclusively doing this now for the past few years, and then I got involved in the Netflix series Surviving Death, which is a 6-part documentary series, and each episode focuses on a different line of evidence that consciousness might survive the death of the physical body. For the past couple of years, this has been really my focus.
How about your family? Your sister, is your mom still with us?
She is.
She is. How are they reacting to this?
They had the same experience I did. They were similarly blown away by what happened to us. And some of the things that happened are not subjective. We've had objective things happen. By the end of the book, I get to something called physical mediumship, which is something I knew absolutely nothing about until this happened to me. And in physical mediumship, things happen there in the room that are physical in nature, and everyone in the room sees them, hears them, feels them. So it's not a question of did that happen or trying to interpret statistics in the way that we do with mental mediumship, which is the mediumship that we're more familiar with. With physical mediumship, I saw something happen with my own eyes. That 100% definitely happened here in the physical world. And because I saw that, and my family is now aware of this as well, we know without a doubt that there is the universe works in a way that we do not yet fully comprehend.
Our guest is Mike Anthony. He's the author of Love, Dad, How My Father Died Then Told Me He Didn't. We're going to take some time out. When we come back, we're going to continue this. I'm really interested in the physicality of what Mike was saying about physical happenings in a seance or a reading. We'll find out more as Late Night Health with Daryl Wayne and Mark Allen continues. Don't go away. More coming up. Late Night Health is proud of our partnership with the EBC, the Evolutionary Business Council. Check them out at ebcouncil.com.
You're listening to Late Night Health with Mark Allen. The show continues in a moment.
Recently, I met Jacqueline from Bright here in Los Angeles. She gave me a hearing exam and then showed me how to hear again with the new Signia Pure Series hearing aids, and she can give you your life back too. I hear birds chirping, birds cooing, and even my wife. They easily connect to my smartphone. The Signia hearing aids are amazing, and with the charge and go, I don't have to fiddle with batteries and hear all day long. Not hearing is frustrating for you and your family. I know you don't have a problem, but trust me, call Bright Here now for a free hearing exam, a $125 value, yours free, just for making an appointment now. There are offices throughout the Los Angeles area. Call Bright Here now at 323-424-7100. That's 323-424-7100 for a free hearing exam. There's no obligation. Call now, 323-424-7100, or visit them on the web at brighthere.com.
If you're listening to Late Night Health right now, you're part of the growing target of baby boomers we're serving. Hi, I'm Daryl Wayne, producer of Late Night Health, inviting you to join the Late Night Health family. If you have any business targeting the growing boomer market, Late Night Health is the ideal advertising vehicle for you. From vitamins to insurance, alternative health to Western-style medicine, Late Night Health caters to the growing population of those over 40 years old. This vibrant demographic has expendable income to fight aging, purchase travel, take care of aging parents, or just have fun. Find out about the advertising opportunities with Late Night Health. Call us at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308, or email us at info@latenighthealth.com. That's info@latenighthealth.com. Join Late Night Health as we empower people to take charge of their own health care. Call now at 805-391-0308. That's 805-391-0308.
There's a lot of talk all over the internet about the remarkable benefits of Carbon-60, and baby boomers are especially excited about it. Greska's Carbon-60 is the premium Carbon-60, developed by an aerospace and NASA scientist. 95% of Greska's customers report positive results from this Nobel Prize-winning technology in just 4 days. Imagine more energy, better health, and more vitality. It's very bioavailable to quickly mend toxin-crippled cells. This is a super powerful antioxidant. Bob Greska is so confident that you'll love his Carbon-60, he wants to send you a bottle at 50% off the regular price to see how life-changing this will be for you. Call 720-600-6040. That's 720-600-6040. Visit c-60.com to learn more. Call 720-600-6040 now, or visit c-60.com. Late Night Health continues. I'm Mark Allen, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. Join us at latenighthealth.com. That's latenighthealth.com. We're speaking with Mike Anthony. His book is called Love, Dad, How My Father Died Then Told Me He Didn't. Mike, we were talking about a physical, happening. I mean, I don't think, a book rising up or anything like that would overly impress me. But what would impress me would be a hug, a special word, or even a smell, because everybody has an aroma. My grandfather smelled like WD-40 and mineral oil and Noxzema. Okay? If I smelled that, I would know he was there. My father wore, I don't know, high karate or something like that, which was an old, aftershave. Tell us about the physical experience you had during that reading.
Yeah, in physical mediumship, that's exactly what you get, the sorts of things that you're talking about. We can break mediumship down into two categories, mental and physical. So mental is the one that we're more familiar with. In physical mediumship, typically you would sit in a dark room or a very dimly lit room, holding hands in a seance. And then the medium supposedly goes into a trance, and at that point, their body can exude something called ectoplasm, which is a word that I was certain was made up by Harold Ramis and Ghostbusters.
Yes.
But apparently it's actually something that was discovered or named by a Nobel Prize winner. He won the Nobel Prize in physiology, a guy named Dr. Charles Richet. He examined this stuff in a lab. And I know how crazy this can sound. I need to make it clear that I went into this. I am totally aware of how insane this might sound, depending on where you are on the spectrum of belief. But when I saw what I saw, I was sitting beside a New York Times journalist. Her name's Leslie Kane. Her word is her livelihood, right? She has to be incredibly careful about what she says, and especially about what she prints. And she has written about this in her own book, Surviving Death. And I saw my father's face appear over the medium's face in this kind of it's very difficult to describe, but in this incredibly fluid way. The medium's face changed, and floating maybe an inch or so in front of it, I saw my father's face suddenly form out of thin air. My father had a beard, and the medium, a guy named Stuart Alexander, had only a very thin beard, and I saw my father's beard suddenly grow and fill in on his face, and his face is only a foot away from mine, and then start to talk to me. And it was the most astounding experience of my life, and some other things that I write about in the book. I thoroughly detail what happened in the book. It completely changed my perception of reality, because I now know, after given what I experienced in that room, and I've now seen it multiple times in multiple places, I know that no matter how many Nobel Prizes a scientist might have, if they tell me that there is no such thing as the quote-unquote paranormal, I know without a doubt that they're wrong. I now know that with certainty.
Well, Harold Ramis may have helped in that situation because he has passed on.
Right.
Right? I mean, and I'm trying not to be flippant. I really am. I would love to have proof. I'd love to see my dad. I'd love for him to see his great grandkids, my sister's children, my children, that he never got to see. And sometimes I feel like he's watching over us. Do you ever have that kind of a feeling that, your dad is saying, hey, go left, because if you go right, you're going to smack up and die?
Oh, sure. I have, I feel his presence very strongly around me now. And which is wonderful and fantastic. As far as science goes, it's not helpful, right? Because no scientist is going to take my word for it that, I'm pretty sure I feel bad here right now. So what's interesting to science are these physical things that have happened in these seance rooms, because again, they're testable, and they're physically available for everyone to perceive. It's not a subjective occurrence. But I definitely have these. I dream about my dad a lot, and the dreams. I've had 3 of them that are not typical dreams. They feel very different than any other dream I've had, and I remember them so clearly. And in those dreams, it usually ends with him giving me a hug. And I can, when I think about it right now, I can feel his arms around me. It's very, the dreams are very realistic. So I do have those sorts of communications from him, if we want to use that word as well.
Do you think that it's helpful to know about this, that it's healthy, mentally healthy, to know that there is something beyond death?
I certainly it is for me. I start the book talking about the television show The Good Place, which is on Netflix, very popular. And in it, there's a scene where one of the lead characters is talking to this angel who is an eternal being, and she's trying to explain to him what it's like to be a human being. And he can't grasp it because he's eternal, and he knows he's eternal. And she says to him, we're all aware of death, so we're all a little bit sad all the time. And that's something that I relate to. Even when I was a young kid, I remember having the fleeting thought that someday my parents wouldn't be here anymore. And I hated that thought, so I pushed it away. But throughout our lives, death is present, right? It's kind of always in the background there. So for me now, to know without a doubt, in my opinion, life definitely survives the death of the body. It has lightened my entire life. It's made the journey sweeter, because if you're not constantly worried about the end of the journey itself can be a lot more fun.
Right. You have a master's degree in theater from Wayne State, which is in Indiana, I believe. And it's in drama and theater. Are you going to go back to that? I know you've got another book coming, Life at Hamilton, but I'm more interested in, will you, kind of leave this and go back to the stage?
Yeah, I still do acting from time to time. As you said, we've been shut down for a year now, coming up on a year in March. So it's always going to be a part of my life, and I think I have the next thing I think I have scheduled will be in the fall, knock on wood, if everything goes well with the vaccinations and COVID and everything. The stage is always going to be a part of my life.
I didn't ask, how long ago did your dad die?
2011, so 10 years.
10 years. And how soon did he manifest to you?
Well, the first thing that came happened immediately. It was about a day or two after we buried him. A medium who we don't know, a complete stranger, contacted my family to say that she had someone who she believed was my dad tapping her on the shoulder, begging her to deliver a message to us that he was okay. So that's actually how the whole thing started. This whole thing was sort of dropped into my lap. It wasn't something that I sought out. And then other things started to happen that I described in the book as well, pretty much immediately.
Got it. Listen, Mike, good luck with the book. Good luck with acting. Good luck with your writing. And we look forward to possibly talking to you again in the future, because I am a skeptic and I want proof. I do. The name of the book is Love Dad, How My Father Died Then Told Me He Didn't, by Mike Anthony. And I think you have a website, mikeanthony.com?
Correct.
Mike, and probably available on Amazon as well. Mike, thank you very much. We appreciate your time today. I'm Mark Allen, along with the insane Daryl Wayne. Don't go away, as we have much more coming up.
Sometimes it's not what you say, it's how you say it. Words are a critical aspect of success. How you get your point across is a crucial part of what makes anything sell. So do it right and hire a writer. Whether it's articles, blog posts, technical writings, website content, product descriptions, or ghostwriting anything from a novel to a nonfiction book about your navel, contact Servet Hassan. If you want it to sell, write it right. Email Servet at servet@servethassan.com.